Hi, Dad. And hello, YouTube. Alright, after an accident I had, a little mishap a couple of days ago, I thought it would be appropriate for me to share with everybody else all the information that I just found out. Sorry, Billy, in advance. But it's working fine now. In Walther PPK, or PP, in variations of the Walther PP, PPK, PPKS, they all have this, I can't get over the PP. They all have this ejector and an ejector spring. That's all part of the same assembly. Now, if you take that off when you're disassembling the pistol, then you could run into some problems, which I did. The little tiny ejector spring just goes off into oblivion, and then you have yourself a 1-pound paperweight. Well, it'll function, but you're not gonna. It won't do anything. Anywho, well, it'll fire, but here's what I'm talking about. This is an SEG PA-63. It's Hungarian, and it's a great gun. Step one, before doing anything, you want to make sure that the gun is unloaded, of course, and you keep it pointed in a safe direction. And so with this pointed in a very, very safe direction, I'm going to pull the action back, look in there, right in there, the ejection port, and I can tell that this gun is unloaded. Again, instead of decocking it, what I'm going to do is actually point it in the safe direction and pull the trigger. And pull the trigger again, just to make sure. It is completely unloaded. This is a harmless weapon. Well, you could throw it at somebody, but anywho. So, basic disassembly procedure. You pull down on the trigger guard, and you pull back on the slide, and the slide will come off. Like so. Let's see if I can do this. Pull down on the trigger guard. Pull the slide back. Up, and ease it forward. Yes. And here's your ejector. This whole piece right here is the ejector. We can pop this back in. This whole piece right here is the ejector, and you can't really see it, but in here, in between the breech and the ejector, there's a little tiny wire spring in there. That's what you want to be careful of. So, if you're going to take that out, Ziploc bag. Great! The camera lady's home. Now that you've got a Ziploc bag, you got to follow the gun, Alibi. You got to make sure it's like in the viewfinder at all times. Hey, what are you doing? Okay, so and you're going to be working with an intricate part that might be lost very easily. So, place it into the Ziploc bag. This is your workspace now. Now, it's easy and safe to depress. Well, you can remove it now. You actually could kind of see the little spring pop right up. Most of the time, that spring's not going to be kept in there very well, and it's just going to fly right out. Just go pew right off into the abyss. I don't know why there's so much gunk in there, but there's gunk in there. Anyway, so now you have this spring. This little tiny spring, this is the ejector. The little tiny spring, if you lose it, there's websites you can find it. The cheapest one I found was $18. Don't yawn! $18 for this little bent piece of wire. It goes back in. Now this is how I've seen it done. Not seen it done, but this is the way it looked in the exploded diagram on a Walther PP. Could be different on this. I have not test fired it since I put it back together. But from what I come to understand, this spring wants to go back in through the front lip, curve back down. Now you're in there. And that's what she said. Anyway. So now, because the spring is it's not very likely, but underneath here, there's a little notch where that spring is going to want to be stopped at. So, anyway, we'll figure that out later. Put the spring in that little notch, and pop the ejector back in. See? I went from kind of a scooping motion. That's right. So, there you go. There you have it. And then you just put the big guy right back around the barrel. You pull the trigger guard back down. You slide it back in. And then you pop the trigger guard back in, and you, once again, have a functioning, ejectable little Walther variation. So, instructional video number 1 by Johnny Banger. Next, we're going to find out how to maintain a healthy relationship with a girl that you drive completely out of her mind. I know I don't. Do I drive you into your mind? I do? Am I a good guy? Am I a homophobe? Why'd you have to think about that one?
I wasn't expecting that.
I know. See? She condones me. Johnny Banger is not a homophobe, even though she has never had an experience like that. Anyway, okay, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye.